Good afternoon. Welcome to OptionsTender. It's Wednesday, October 1st, 2025. So we had a buy the dip situation here today. So we want to show you exactly on the charts what we think is going to happen after this new high that was made in the very near term of SPX. We'll go and check out Tesla because the delivery numbers are coming in tomorrow. Before the bell. So those numbers are expected to be 465,000 to 475,000. And then we'll see if that, since the tax credit expired on September 30th, to see if there was an extra boost in those numbers. So we'll keep an eye on those. Also, this morning, the government shutdown at midnight happened. I think that was the catalyst to give us our overnight downside, and then afterwards we had the negative what was it, the ADP numbers. We had the negative ADP numbers, and that gave us kind of the bad news is good news situation where the dip was bought, hoping there's more cuts from the Fed. So that will only go until it does. That situation will certainly, it happens at tops like this very often. And so we're just seeing the same thing over and over again. Where is this going to end? Let's see if we can check it out. So let's go to the charts. We have SPX on the daily time frame. By the way, we're doing this at 12:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to get these videos intraday, consider becoming a YouTube supporter. Also, that comes with the Discord, and trade alerts. We'll be doing some more videos for the higher end, the $4.99 a month members. We just did the whole cannabis kind of market look at it. We have some individual names that we have in our growth IRA that have just been blowing up, and it's fantastic, and I don't think they're done yet. So we did that video today. That's very important. But let's dive into this daily video. We have the SPX. First of all, just a note here that here's the put to call ratios, and we're getting extremely complacent. Once you get under that 40 mark here, you see we're at just underneath that 40 cent mark. That's extreme complacency, and that's a contrarian bear signal, possible reversal point, and it doesn't have to happen the same day. There's people that check those things out, and when the moving averages get down there, that's when they pull the trigger. But nevertheless, we have SPX trying to get all-time highs here. You saw we had our tweezer top, we had our correction there. I think it's still an impulse, and that won't be negated until price action gets above the old high there. Will it get there? It's possible, but let's wait for the 65-minute, because it's also possible that we're just getting a double top, and we at this point still have a lower high. So let's check that out first, and just to keep you aware of what's happening. I know there's a lot of bullish people here, and it certainly can go higher. We'll be looking at some of the structure. A lot of people are considering this. We, are very confident that this is a wave 3 and a 4. And some people are looking at this as a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, that you go higher. But I, caution you that this is probably an inning diagonal, and there are 3 wave moves in each move. So, and there's still a wave count to where you get a little bit higher here, and then you resume to the downside. But we want to be cautious right here, right now, still, that this could be an impulse move. Okay, so let's put on our trend. Clearly, the trend is still up. We're all green. We bounced off of the 20 moving average there. We have the 8 EMA that's pushing up. Just riding that EMA right now, just holding on to it with dear life over and over each day. Calling the oscillator. Let's put on our traditional look here. So There we go. So we had our negative divergence all through this. As a matter of fact, this entire time down, you can see the lower highs, and then we got that dip by right here on the oversold territory, and that was also the trend line here. So just these micro bounces here, but notice that this will end up playing out eventually. Just an observation from last time when we had these new highs here and we made a new high, slight new high. You see how breadth was deeply divergent, and as soon as it started getting down this territory, it began to move there, and you get bounces out of it, but it continues to go lower into the bearish territory. So just an observation there. Also, look at this wedge. We're just holding to dear life with this wedge. I told you we're going to keep it on here just to see what price action does, and just keeping it the same just so we connect here, here, and here. And you see how you had a fake break, and then you the fake break to the downside. Now we're fighting with the top of that wedge again. All right, so we'll keep an eye. We'll stretch this out just a little bit more. Really kind of obeying, respecting this wedge, and possible that we reverse right here, right now, off of this. And what I mean is not necessarily today. Maybe we get a doji day here inside. That's probably the most bearish that you can possibly get today. Even though the breadth indicators are not strong, you have these individual names that would have to give up before price would reverse. Okay, and so we'll look at Tesla again here in a second. And with your MACD, if we do make a new high, that would be a divergent high in the daily time frame. But we're rolling over. Again, I know this is sideways to down, but we had the red histograms. We did have that bear cross here, so we want to see if we get continuation from that. Now we have a headwind here for the bears with this heading higher, so we'll look for this again to cross over to get that confirmed sell signal on the slow stoke. Let's go to SPY. Let's put on the, let me move this back over. We'll do the divergent high here, and we'll do the DMARC. Just at a 1, 2, 3 count so far. No setup here. Money flow. If we do make a high, it probably be a divergent high. Bollinger Bands contracting at this point. No setup. Elliott oscillator, we would get a lower high here in the near term if we did make a brand new all-time high. Let's go to the VIX. Now the VIX, although it just went negative, slightly negative, you were looking for a daily minor cycle low here. Now, is this the low? We're right here at that. Let's see where let's go in a little tighter here. So tomorrow's the ideal low. Does that mean that we're in the window already? So we could have a low in here after rejecting off of that secondary wedge. Or do we get a doji tomorrow for a reversal higher? Okay, so what this is telling me with the strength and the movement, we could get another doji on the weekly time frame. So watch out for that theta decay where price action isn't going much higher, but it comes back by the end of the week, but doesn't have a huge move. In other words, we're not having follow through yet. So, all right, that's what we want to show on the VIX. But we're still, with the moving averages, we're still holding the 8 EMA. The momentum's up on the VIX. You know, which is going to give out? Is it going to be the VIX that gives out, or is it going to be SPX that gives out? Okay, so we're above the 50, we're above the 20. The trend is up. The momentum's up. That shouldn't last long. Where the VIX momentum is up and SPY or SPX momentum is up. And maybe we'll look at the mags too. But yeah, let's go there right now. So we have our Magnificent 7 ETF. Now here again is that possible wave 3 and a 4. I think this is a wave 5 here, and then we get that wave 5 of a lower degree, and I think this is a triangle in here. Okay, and that triangle breaks out. You have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave to end this entire move. Okay, wave 4 into wave 5. Now, I'm wrong if this truly is a wave 5 here, lower degree, and this turns into an extension where it's a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. So if the market ends up making a new high on the mags, then you're probably looking at that scenario where this is a wave 4, and this is probably a triangle. If it breaks out from there and you get 5 and then 4 and a 5, you have to have all of these play out. This would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then you should have another 4 or 5 up here if that's the situation. I think this is a triangle. I think this consolidation is a wave 4, and then this is the 5th wave to end this move here. So we'll have to see if that works out. And this is a very close scenario to what's happening on the Qs as well. If you go down to the lower time frame, we'll check that out in a minute. So Tesla is here's our bearish scenario. We clearly have a bullish and a bearish scenario, and although this seems like it's playing out to be bullish, we're at this 887. It's a big time Fibonacci retracement. So you had our deep retracement here for an ABC, and we're kind of getting extended here. And if you look at some of the oscillators and some of the indicators, and here's the wave count that I have where this is leading to, after you broke out from the B wave, now you have a leading diagonal for a 1, 2, you get a wave 3, 4, and what's happening in here is you're having this ending diagonal, ending this move here, and it works out perfect. And also on the lower time frames, you have divergences that are happening. And it just so happens when you are coming into this big Fibonacci retracement that you have a catalyst tomorrow. So let's watch Tesla. Tesla could be a big indicator on what's happening next in the market. And let's go down to the 65-minute of SPY. So with that said, that we have that possibility tomorrow. All right, and we have the jobs report in the morning as well. You know, either one of those could be pinned on the market if it does reverse. Here's your traditional look here, and this is what I want to show you. So typically when you have these divergences here that we talked about yesterday, you can take the top of one, you can actually make a divergent type trend. So this peak was a higher high. This peak to this peak was a lower high. All right, that's how we do it. And then what this says is we can add a trend line up there, and it could act as resistance, and it is. So as of today, it's moving. It's at that resistance point right now. And so we're still at a lower high technically. Even if this peaks above, then there's a possibility that this was a 5th wave up here up top. But we could get that double top here, so it could go a little higher for double top. It could stop right here because of this trend line as a double top. Okay. Okay, so clearly the trend is up. You have that 20 exponential moving average playing off there. You see the moving averages here. Clearly above the 8, held on to a gap down to the 20, gap down to this potential at the time trend line, and it held. So this trend line is valid at this point. So both of these are valid trend lines at this point. So we break out, break down. DMARC 6 count. Maybe we get to 9 count exhaustion. So this right here gives us a little bit of a clue that price may be heading lower. We had that divergent high right here on both of these highs. So this actually stretches down to both of those highs today. So volume's drying up. This is distribution right here. All right, that's what this indicator says. Bollinger Band, we have a sell signal as of right now off of that Bollinger Band high, a divergent high right here in overbought territory. That's a sell signal set up in itself. Let's see if that plays out. And here, we didn't make a brand new high, so we can't really compare it to these others, but we're well into this green area. Let's see if this starts to get some red bars and head lower into this territory. We want to see this down here lower for quite some time. All right, so let's look at the wave counts. We'll go over to the Qs as well. And so just a massively deep retracement. So that's not your garden variety typical retracement, but let me take off some of these. Oh, that's not working. Let me just leave the 887 up there. Okay. All right. So we have our wave 1. This is still a wave 2, even though it's completely deep. I mean, it's just pennies away from the highs. This goes away if we make a new high. This count goes away. But so far, we have a 1, 2, and this looks like a 5-wave move up. It doesn't matter. It could be an ABC. I think this is probably an ABC. That's probably a zigzag in itself. Okay. And that brought us to the Fibonacci's retracements. And then we had a correction here. So what I'm looking at is this being an A, B, C, and to a larger degree, it became a complex correction. That's what I'm trying to say. So now this is an A. You had a zigzag into an A. You had a B. And the reason why this could still be technically a, but not likely, but technically it still could be a corrective move to make a new high is because we are forming an ending diagonal. So right now we have an A, B, C, and within here, you'll see that it's a ending diagonal in itself. So you have these overlapping waves here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to end the C wave of this ABC. So an A, B, C for A into B, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the C. All right, that's assuming that we do not go any higher. If it does, then what we do is look at this as a 1, just like it is, 2, and then all of this was a 3, which it doesn't appear to be because of this 3-wave move here. I'm pretty sure that top would be in. I think that's a high probability. And but this 3 would be up here, and then you get the 4. And so maybe this would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then for an A, and then you get a B, and then this really small C wave. And I guess, you can crunch these in any way that you can, but then you get your impulse and then ABC back here. But we would move the wave 3 up to here, and then a wave 4 down to here, and then your wave 5 would move over up here if we eke out that brand new high there. All right, for now this stands, and not all setups work out. So, that's what we're doing each and every day. You play the setup. Okay, and your setup could be opposite. Every time you hit the moving average, you buy, and that's been working out really well. Buy the dip. So you have this again, your wave 3. We want to see it surpass the 646.38 down here to see that we have a trend change confirmation. Okay, so we showed that the Qs. Here's that look here to where you have an A, B, C, D, E. Now you can draw that in a different way where this would be the top and you have an A, B, C, D, E down in here. All right, where the E wave ended right here and a contracting triangle here. And then you have your 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. So at that point, now we're looking up here. So again, super deep retracement. So, most people say the probability is you go higher as soon as you get to these retracements that are that high. That makes sense. I totally get it. But there's going to be some point where they're just going to want to fool you and start breaking down here. So far, if we make a new high here, then we just take out this lower degree purple 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'd be matched up with SPY. All right. So far, we'd have a 1, 2, 1, 2 set up for the Qs, and we'll see how that goes. Let me borrow one of these. And it's just really pushing up there. If this gets a brand new high, then we'll have to figure out what that, again, like how I was talking about with the mags, that this is now probably a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe a triangle here, 4, 5, 4, 5, higher. So if we make a brand new high here, we'll have to keep that in mind, which it's still pushing. Still pushing. The market will push you to your limits, you guys. That's why people quit. What else do I want to show? We looked at NVIDIA. So same thing with NVIDIA. It's got this ending diagonal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move. It was right here that we were talking about yesterday that we didn't know if we'd get one new high up here or not. So this could, ride up here for a little bit on this, but it looks like a really good setup in itself. We're out 2 weeks on this trade here for some puts as well. Anything else that the mags, kind of that same situation on the lower time frame? And the 1, 2, 1, 2 so far. And we'll look for this to either break down or, it could be a complex correction where you get your A, B, and it's looking for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move to be a 1, 2 up here instead of here. All right. VIX. Again, the VIX is holding up well. We have this nice wedge breakdown, higher lows. We're continuing to march up here with the higher lows and nesting. And we could draw a big triangle here. But in the lower time frame, I want to keep this each move separate. So we're correcting in some way, some form here. Maybe we close this gap up. We have a gap down here. And maybe they're considering this one entire move here, and then we're correcting from that move. And this is really messy in this price action. So we'll see if this is entire move here, or if it's a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah. Yep. We need more information to really tell anything. But if this starts to get new highs here, we're likely to start seeing the market reverse at this point. So it looks like the Qs did get above that. Now it's very similar to SPY. If we are to get a lower high, then here's we no longer have this in play. Okay, so this is in play so far. We make a new high, and then we start all over again for any potential bear structure. All right, let's get this video out too. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow.